And so, in their unfailing and unwavering fashion, the Christian right has prayed and prayed and prayed until I saw the light. I've succumbed to the wiles of the Narth Institute because their arguments are just so awesome.
Dude, you can't be cured from gay.
No longer will I endure my demons.
This is a joke, right?
No longer will I be privy to the pestilent perversion of multiple orgies a month.
Day.
No longer will I mourn my lost marriage. I will remarry my ex-wife.
She's remarried. You can't do that.
I'll find another. There are plenty of fish in the sea.
You like dick.
I'm giving it up.
Yeah, do you see this picture?
I will not look. Foul tempter.
You know you want to. It's Ryan Gosling.
Really? No.
Chiseled abs, dude. Chiseled abs.
I no longer believe in chiseled abs. I like TNA now. I'm a TNA guy now.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Look.
Is that Tom Brady?
Yep.
And Zachary Quinto?
It's not just Zachary Quinto. It's Zachary Quinto as Spock. How do you feel now?
Yeah, I'm still gay.
So what do you want to do?
I don't know, you want to debunk some really shitty arguments against homosexuality?
Okay.
Okay, before you hit that dislike button,
What dislike button?
just hear me out, will you? Believe me, I know this is a sensitive issue, and I'm not here to crap on anyone's feelings.
Okay.
I just want to do what nobody else on YouTube seems responsible enough to do, and alert you to the fact that there are consequences for endorsing homosexuality.
You're not serious, are you? Multiple people on YouTube have covered this subject, and I know your video's old, but you're definitely not the first to do this.
Now please, don't call me a homophobic bigot, because I've gotten to be friends with gay people in my college experience.
Right. The first thing I do when I walk into a room is count how many gay people there are, how many white people, black people, and women.
One of them was my roommate for 3 years, Kent, whom I would go to anime club with, and I used to give him graphic novels for presents every Christmas.
I'm sure he appreciated your friendship.
The other guy was a guy named James, or Captain Kirk as we like to call him, who hung out in my lunch group for 2 years. We used to play Smash Brothers Brawl together, or watch 90s cartoons like Animaniacs and Tiny Toons Adventures.
And I'm also really sure that he appreciated being counted amongst your gay friends. You see, when I walk into a room, I'm not constantly reminding myself of how different my friends are from me. The fact of their heterosexuality is the last of all the things that I give a shit about.
I love them as people, and I still do. So when I say that homosexuality is bad, I speak not out in hate against anyone, but because the condition itself is so destructive.
Condition? Oh, I gotta hear this.
Let's cut right to the chase. Hemorrhoids, rectal prolapse, incontinence, fissures, these are all the consequences of those who practice anal sex.
What is everybody's obsession with anal? So is this about anal sex or homosexuality? I'm not sure what you're getting at.
STDs go without saying. Anyone who calls a man with a man a loving relationship is a fool.
Right, because every man who has ever loved another man in every instance has had anal sex with him. Plus, anal is an exclusively homosexual act.
Because one doesn't express love for another by putting his life in danger.
Right, you're absolutely right. That's why condoms exist.
This is not love, but lust overpowering reason.
Again, unprotected sex is not something that's exclusive to homosexuals.
It is as simple and irrefutable as that. Endorse homosexuality, and you encourage my friends, Kent and James, to engage in behavior that will cut their lifespans in half.
I can only assume that you're referring to Paul Cameron's fallacious study done in 1994. Even though I know that the data collection methods in that study were disgustingly flawed, that doesn't matter considering that it's a 20-year-old statistic. I can't remember the last time I cited a statistic that was 20 years old and said, well, I guess this represents the population now.
What causes me to oppose this? Hatred for them or love?
I haven't come to a conclusion about that yet.
What may come as a surprise to some of you is that lesbians also tend to die 30 or more years before their time. And that's because homosexuality is more than just an act of sex, it scrambles the mind. The magazine Sexually Transmitted Infections reports, lesbians are significantly more likely than straight women to report past
More likely to report. Emphasis on that, please.
sexual contact with a homosexual or bisexual man and sexual contact with an IDU, intravenous drug user.
So you're using a statistic that states that their heterosexual acts are more likely to cause them to die? This isn't a good way to start if you're trying to explain why homosexuality is bad. Being a lesbian didn't make them want to have sex with those men. It's also correlation equals causation argument.
Of course, death by suicide is also a factor, as homosexuals are 25 times more likely to commit. And that could be because lesbian partnerships tend to get abusive and grow worse over time. Look, I could just keep quoting statistics, but I doubt they'd appeal to any of you who know a homosexual in your own lives whom you consider normal. The point is, like it or not, homosexuality is brutal, and it will hurt its victims in the long run.
Then why'd you bring them up? To present an argument from authority? Seems strange that you would present them and then present nothing that disagrees with it. It's not very unbiased if you ask me. Furthermore, some of the studies you're citing come from the Family Research Institute. Very, very telling. We can argue with these statistics, and we can argue with how they were collected. And we can argue with why they were collected. That's how science works.
From age 16 through 19, I was addicted to RuneScape. I must have mined 100,000 coal and iron ore rocks, and that's a very real number. Today, I have a level 100 account, a few million in GP, and 3 years of teenage life that I am never going to get back. And for what? A false sense of power that vanishes the moment I log off?
Sorry to all the RuneScape addicts out there, but who cares? Are you just drawing a comparison between video game addiction and sexual addiction? Sorry, but sex is not completely fruitless. It's actually very healthy if done safely and between consenting adults. I know this assumes a perfect world, but sexual addiction is not exclusive to homosexuals. All you've done so far is point out that unsafe sex practices and sexual addiction have adverse consequences, not that homosexuality is bad. And, by the way, those consequences apply to all people, not just gays and lesbians.
It was a fruitless addiction. Wikipedia defines addiction as a continued behavior despite adverse consequences, or a neurological impairment leading to such behaviors. In English, you keep doing bad stuff because you like it. Homosexuality produces but one thing that keeps it going despite all the trauma, disease, and death: sensual pleasure. Once you look past all the gay agenda's tools, its slogans, music, and TV shows, and get down to the base substance, hedonism is what you find.
Using terms like the gay agenda, hedonism, this is poisoning the well. Every human being, every one of us is capable of hedonism. It doesn't matter who you are. This is not a thing that is exclusive to homosexuals.
We Americans frown upon the addictions of smoking and alcoholism all through our K-12 school education, realizing that these are destructive behaviors. So why do we then put lipstick on the pig and dub homosexuality a loving relationship between two consenting adults?
Because that's exactly what it is. Whether or not it involves two men, two women, a man and a woman, so long as there's consent, that's what it is.
It seems this addiction is so powerful that it even poisons those not partaking in it. America is literally losing its mind.
Am I supposed to take that seriously? Doctor, please help me. I think I'm losing my mind. When did you first notice this? When hedonistic, sexually addicted gays started becoming a part of pop culture and asking for equality. Here is the pill for that, and what I want you to do is make consistently exaggerated statements about homosexuals that have no basis in reality. That should make it go away.